Hello and welcome to Box Office Chat, the weekly show from Movie Burner Entertainment where we discuss the top 10 films within the United Kingdom's box office. This is for the weekend, August 31st to September 2nd, and joining me as ever is Stephen to discuss the box office. What have we got at number 1, Stephen?
And it's third week, John. It's Christopher Robin. This is Ewan McGregor's Christopher Robin, grossing another 1.2 million over the weekend. Overall, 10.9. Talked about this film for the last 3 weeks, John. It's holding it in there. Not much competition this week, as we'll soon find out as the show rolls merrily forward. But, you know, I said last week, you know, I took my daughter to see this, thoroughly enjoyed it, visually stunning. Ewan McGregor, terrific as always. Characters, every one of them, memorable, and it was a great story.
Yeah, Stephen, it's still sitting at number 1, as I did say. It's a big surprise not. It's been in the box office for 3 weeks now. It's still shown in 646 theatres, which incidentally is the most in the box office in Britain at the moment. It's down 27 theatres, and it's doing okay. £10.8 million after 3 weeks is just okay. I says to you, before we come on, it's number 1 by default, really. Mamma Mia's been out for 7 weeks now. I don't think that's going to reclaim number 1 spot. I won't put any limbs on the line going in with that in a bet, but I would think The Nun, despite what I'm hearing about it, I've not been to see it yet, but I've heard it's a bit shit. I can't lie, I'm not going to mince my words, but I do think that will come in and still do well at the box office. By all accounts it is doing well at the box office, regardless of its artistic merits, so I think that will come in at number 1. And then we've got a whole host of other films coming out, the likes of Crazy Rich Asians and a couple of other ones, which I'm sure will push these films down. Christopher Robin, though, £10 million isn't stellar by any means. We've seen the likes of Paddington, Coco, and a couple of other animated films. I think most recently The Incredibles 2, sitting at £53 million after 8 weeks. That's what you'd normally expect. Coco earned about £45-50 million. Paddington 1 and 2, 40 odd million pounds each. This has only been out 3 weeks and it's barely broke 10.8 million, so it's not stellar by any means. But in terms of the film, I can't disagree with what you said, Stephen. Thoroughly enjoyed the film. Certainly you go into the likes of Rotten Tomatoes, 87% audience rating, critics 72 and 70%, split between the top and just the regular everyday Joe critics, and I completely agree with that. I thought it was a fantastic film. I thoroughly enjoyed the performance of Ewan McGregor as Christopher Robin. He was outstanding. It was really a one-man show at times, literally, because he was acting to thin air. This was stuffed toys getting put in front of him for one take, and then they were getting whisked away, and he was acting to thin air. But certainly in terms of the stuffed toys as well, I thought the standouts were definitely Tigger and Pooh himself, and obviously Eeyore as well. And the fact that they did get back the original guy, Jim Cummings, to do those two memorable characters, that just added an air of authenticity to the proceedings. Enjoyed the young girl that played the daughter, Bronte Carmichael. She was okay, and Hayley Atwell as a wife done fine as well. Didn't have a huge amount of screen time though, but yeah, I thought it was all in all a very, very good film. I don't think the box office is reflecting how good a film it actually is. You look total worldwide cumulative gross, I think it's sitting at $142.9 million. Don't know what the budget was, but certainly I think it's made a profit anyway regardless. But yeah.
Yeah, we're at that period, John, in the year coming off the back of the summer now.
Yes.
You know, a lot of these films came out just at the tail end of the summer, and we're now moving into that autumn period now. It's usually quieter as far as you know, blockbuster films go. That's not to say that you know, the upcoming films are not going to, you know, shake things up in the box office, but you're certainly right. Christopher Robin, it probably is there by default. That's not to say it's not a good film. It's an excellent film. But there isn't much competition this week, which we'll certainly be discussing in the next half hour or so. But we're going to move on to number 2, and it's another film that we've talked the hind legs off of.
Yes.
It's Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, in its 7th week, as you said, John.
Here we go again.
And again and again. And it's grossed another £1 million over the weekend. Quite impressive for a film of its genre in its 7th week. And overall, 62.3 million. It's fair to say it's been a success.
Yes, it has. Definitely has. 62.3 million, as you did say. An incredible performance for a sequel. It's a musical. As I did say in the previous weeks I spoke about this film, Stephen, musicals do seem to be hitting it off with audiences in the United Kingdom as of late. I don't know how they performed prior to that, because I'm not going to lie, it wasn't a genre I was ever a fan of. I didn't go out my way to watch it. I keep an eye on the performances prior to starting the whole movie burner thing. since I've started taking a closer look, you see the likes of La La Land was a success. The Greatest Showman was an unbelievable success. And now this has done very well too. So maybe it is a common theme, it's just happened throughout the years, but the musicals connect with the British audience, I don't know. Certainly I think 7 weeks into its run, things are going down, and they'll go down quickly. £973,000 at the weekend. It's not to be laughed at. Certainly after 7 weeks it's very decent. I don't see this film breaking like 75-80 million pounds. Certainly it may reach 70 million if it stays in the box office for a number of weeks still. But as I did say, with the films coming out, I think the competition will start to get a little bit stronger, and as a result we'll see it dropping down and down and down. In terms of worldwide box office, finally I can look at these figures because I'm using Box Office Mojo on its own now. I'm not doing it through IMDb, and it can give us updated figures. In the box office cumulative gross is $376.3 million. Again, I think the original one grossed $500 million, so it's way off of that, and I don't think it will trouble that. May hit $400 million, I don't know, but it's not going to hit the $500 million the original did. But I do like this feature they have on this, where they show you the split between domestic, aka the US, and the foreign, and it shows you 31.6 to 68.4 split. So certainly this has been over well more with the international audiences, i.e. us, than it has in the United States. But I ain't get much to add, Stephen. I've not went to see it. It's not my cup of tea. I'm not a big fan of ABBA. Didn't go to see it.
One of its the reasons, John, it's been so successful, I think, is its soundtrack. You know, incidentally, the soundtrack's still at number 1 here in the UK, and the official soundtrack album chart top 50 for 7th of September through to 13th of September. And it's been at number 1 for the last 8 weeks. And interesting enough, the original Mamma Mia soundtrack is at number 3. That's been in the charts for 531 weeks. Unbelievable. Yes. But this is what this film is all about. It's all about the music of ABBA, and it's been done well. I've said all I've had to say on the movie itself. I did go and see this weeks and weeks ago with my daughter. She thoroughly enjoyed it. She loves the soundtrack as well. My car certainly doesn't like it. But no, it's one of those films. It was expected to do well. Personally, I didn't think it would do as well as it has. But then again, I didn't think The Great Showman would have the legs. I can't remember how many weeks we talked about that movie for, but as you said, it seems to be a popular thing here in the UK at the moment, these musicals. Mm-hmm. And it was always going to do well anyway, but I just didn't think it would do as well as it has.
Yes, and we're going to move on to number 3, Stephen, and it's BlacKkKlansman. It's grossed £906,000 for the weekend, down 17.2% from last weekend, but it's up 156 theatres, now sitting at a total gross of £3.36 million after 2 weeks. That's very decent for a film of this nature. That's not really something we're closely associated with over here. The whole black-white conflict, civil rights, the Ku Klux Klan. I don't think we've got it over here. Certainly if they were, they'd get the shit beat out of them very quickly. We don't stand for that. We just stand for religious sectarianism. We don't divide by colour. It's just religion, you know, over here. But yeah, I digress. I did go and see this film, Stephen. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't know how many thoroughlies that was, I says, but yes, really enjoyed this film. Spike Lee's back to form here, for sure. Certainly the writing team of Charlie Wachtel, David Rabinowitz and Kevin Wilmot and Spike Lee himself worked absolute wonders, because the biggest takeaway from this, out with the satirical stuff and the political commentary it was given through the medium of comedy and a mixture of drama and everything else, but the standout for me was the dialogue. It was so organic and witty and snappy, and the way it was just coming out of these characters' mouths. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've quoted about 50 million things while I was watching this, scribbling away on my little notebook I take into the theatre, and there's so much there, Stephen. Certainly at the beginning, Alec Baldwin, I thought he would have a more prominent role, but it turns out it was just a mere cameo. He rants for about 2.5 minutes at the start in a monologue. It's just crazy, racist filled, but absolutely hilarious as well, because you know he's not like that, and you know what they're doing. They're just highlighting some of the things that go on in this crazy country that is the United States of America. The likes of Ron Stallworth, played by John David Washington, thoroughly enjoyed his performance. It's not a guy I knew a lot about, I can't lie. Really enjoyed his performance, so it was quite an odd performance. He was a strange guy in many ways, but very funny. Standout by far for me though was definitely Adam Driver. There was just something about him. He was playing a Jewish character Flip Zimmerman, who was infiltrating the Ku Klux Klan physically. He was making the actual appearances whilst Ron Stallworth was talking to them on the phone. They were playing the same made-up character. I say made-up, it's Ron Stallworth. He gives out his real name at the beginning by mistake. And they infiltrate the Ku Klux Klan and they basically try and find out what they're getting up to. And there's a bomb attempt that happens at the end of the film. But it's just full of satire. It's really showing that not much has changed in the ensuing 40 years. I believe this is set in the 70s. You see the clear similarities between President Trump's administration, the hit and run thing in Charlottesville, which gets highlighted at the end, very powerful moment, that, and just what happens in this film. There's not a great deal changed. There's still problems. You've got demonstrations for rights and police brutality on the left, and the Ku Klux Klan and these lunatics on the right try to kill people. Amazing film. I don't know what much more to say before I let you in. I don't want to gibber on for about 10 minutes here, other than to say incredible dialogue, powerful story and themes that are getting fleshed out, and I love the mixture of comedy and seriousness. It was a sight to behold, and props to Spike Lee and Jordan Peele as well, who produced it.
That's what Spike Lee does best, John.
Yeah.
You know, he can take a serious subject matter and add humour to it with fidelity. Yeah. Incidentally, John, I don't know if you know about this, but Spike Lee received a 6-minute standing ovation at the Cannes Film Festival after the premiere of this film.
I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised because
I mean, the guy, he knows how to pick the timing of his films as well, especially this political environment over in the US at the moment. It certainly is probably the right time to release such a film. I've not waited to see this yet, John. It's been out for a couple of weeks here in the UK, getting 7.9 out of 10 in the first 2 weeks over in the UK is very impressive. But I knew this film was going to do well anyway, regardless. I don't know how well it's going to do over in the US, but certainly over here. I know that it's in quite a few cinemas here in Glasgow. I think maybe about 10, 13, 14, I'm not sure. But it's one I would do want to go and see. It's one of those films that I like to go to the theatre myself, you know, because it's one of those ones I like to give my full concentration to and just absorb the whole experience. As you said, it's a terrific cast. I was actually reading an article on IndieWire in regards to Topher Grace.
Yes.
He said in an interview to IndieWire that portraying David Duke left him feeling depressed. So as an act of a catarrh, he took on the project of editing Peter Jackson's trilogy of films based on The Hobbit into a single 2-hour movie. If that's the therapy you require, Topher, then go for it, mate. Certainly would like to see that edit, because I think that was a trilogy of films that could easily have been scaled down to a 2-hour movie. But I digress, John. Yeah, it's a film, when it was announced it was getting made, and the fact that Spike Lee was directing, it was a film, yes, this is one that's on my list for 2018, and I can't wait to see it. Yeah,
Topher Grace, he actually played the head guy. I don't know what the actual term is of the Ku Klux Klan in it, and he was a bit of an idiot. He's talking to Ron Stallworth on the phone, and he's completely unaware it's an African American he's talking to, and he's saying things like, "I can tell you've got pure white iron blood running through you," and he's laughing and sniggering with some of the other officers on the other side. Just amazing comedy, a mismatch of comedy and just seriousness, as you did say. It's classic Spike Lee, Stephen. Jasper Packanen as well, it was another one that stood out as Felix Kenrickson. He was very suspicious of Flip as soon as he seen him. He knew he was a Jew, and he was just interrogating him at every moment, trying to hook him up to lie detectors and pointing guns in his face, to the point where at one point, and I'll read this quote out because it was hilarious, Flip actually says, "What is this? Is this your new den? Is this where you make your candles, your lampshades?" That's a clear reference. Saying things like the Holocaust was beautiful because he's trying to get a rise out of him. He was doing everything in his power to show that he didn't care he wasn't Jewish. Of course he was. But yeah, it was a packed full of some amazing wacky characters. You had Black Power movement on the other side that Ron was kind of being immersed with via a relationship with another character. I don't know what the name is at the moment. Then on the other side you had the complete opposite, the contrast of the Ku Klux Klan. All in all, amazing dialogue, as I did say. I'll actually read out what it says at the end. This is my summation of the whole film. I said, all in all, very funny film in places, amazing snappy, organic dialogue, 3 outstanding performances from Adam Driver, John David Washington and Jasper Packanen. Spike Lee and Jordan Peele did a great job. The score was understated but magnificent. The period setting was authentic with the cinematography and costume design on point. Mismatch of different genres and at times tones that had no right working so fluidly, and it explored some vitally important themes, issues that sadly still have great significance in today's society. I think that just about sums it up. I thought it was a fantastic film. Not surprised that Spike Lee got a standing ovation, because certainly the way it ends powerfully, and it shows you that these issues are still ongoing in today's society. But just finishing on the box office, domestically over in the United States, $43.4 million, 22.1 in the foreign territories, and a total worldwide gross of $65.5 million. So it's doing very well off of a $15 million production budget. So made a profit, and deservedly so.
Another film that's still doing well, John, is The Meg.
Yes.
In its fourth week, sitting at number 4. Earned another just under £1 million here in the UK over the weekend, grossing 14 million. Very impressive for a movie of this genre, John. We talked about this on Box Office Chat last week and on the Movie Burner blog rundown last Thursday. It's a film you reviewed as well. It's a very good review.
Thank you very much.
I think it's a movie it's definitely exceeded its expectations.
Yes.
And I'm glad to see it's doing well, because it was probably a film that a lot of people wrote off before it even was released, to be honest with you. The fact it was a shark movie, the history of shark movies over the last 10 years hasn't been very promising. The fact that, and I don't mean this in any way against Jason Statham, but he can knock a film or two out every maybe couple of months, and it didn't really get a lot of big promotion over here in the UK. I think it was maybe about the week or two running up to its release we started to see the movie posters. Wasn't a lot of trailers on the TV, as I recall, John?
No, there wasn't. I seen one, and actually it wasn't even on TV. I was watching it on YouTube. I'm talking crap. So yeah, it didn't get a great deal of push over here, which is all the more remarkable that it has went on and grossed £13.9 million over here. Very impressive. Certainly cumulative worldwide grossing of $491.9 million off of a $130 million budget. There's a 26-73% split going on there between foreign and domestic being the US. So that's a surprise that the US hasn't really taken on to it, but still $131.5 million in the United States is nothing to be laughed off by any means. I bet those top critics that make up the cumulative scores on Rotten Tomatoes, I bet they are absolutely fuming. 26% rating, and it still earns a massive profit. That's because this isn't the type of film they like, so bear that in mind if you're going to watch this film. They don't like these films anyway. It's just a classic shark film, very predictable plot, but as I did say on the Movie Burner blog rundown, Stephen, when we discussed my review, it's what they do in the ensuing time in between the beginning and the end that matters, and it's very enjoyable. They put in a lot of action set pieces. There's some cool little moments with the submersible vehicles zipping around under the water. There's some amazing shots of the Meg flipping out of the water and capsizing a massive big boat. It's just a whole lot of cool moments. That moment on the beach didn't really add anything to the plot, really. They just flung it in there for visuals. But seeing that little Asian guy getting ate in the inflatable ball on top of the water, that made the whole scene for me. Stupid, predictable film, but I can still get enjoyment out of it, because I do have a soft spot for a shark film. Didn't take itself too seriously. Statham carried it with absolute ease. So all in all, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, just going to move on now, John, to number 5 this week in the box office. It's a film you saw called Searching, and it's in its first week, and it grossed 800,000 over the weekend. This is a movie I didn't really know too much about. Word of mouth is it's a pretty good film. It's certainly getting a good rating on IMDb, 7.9 out of 10 already in its first week. It's very impressive after only 9,000 reviews. This is directed by Anish Gigante, and I think also writes this movie. It stars John Cho, Deborah Messing, Joseph Lee, and it's about after his 16-year-old daughter goes missing, a desperate father breaks into her laptop to look for clues to find her. It's definitely a drama, mystery, thriller, this one. Yes. And it sounds quite intriguing, actually. It sounds like a film I think I would enjoy.
Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed it, I have to say. I didn't know much about it either, Stephen, but then I seen the posters, I heard the concept, and I was in, because as you do know, I'm a big fan of Columbo, so I like the mystery elements in these sort of things, TV shows and films. This is right up my street. John Cho, fantastic actor. I've enjoyed him in a number of films. Certainly he's the only guy I know in this film. He's the real leading star of this film, and he leads it entirely, because it's all based around him searching for his daughter. The concept is the most mental concept I've ever seen. I seen a film called Unsane earlier in the year, which was shot entirely on an iPhone 7. This one was based around a computer screen for the whole film. It often went off into like live shots of like news playing out on a TV screen, or it'd go onto a GPS screen when he was going to search for a certain area to see if his daughter was there. But it was all based around a monitor. Any shots of the characters were through video clips or FaceTime. It's crazy. It's a crazy concept, and you think, what the hell's going on here? But it works. For some reason it works. It's implemented so well that it does work. It's jarring in the first few minutes, but then you get used to it, and it's really intelligent the way they do it. They use CCTV. They put in spy cameras on in his brother's house. It's suspected he may have been involved in the kidnap and attempted murder of his daughter, so he installed spy cameras, and then you get a powerful moment where he's confronting him and they are fighting, and then they make back up again. It's all done through the spy camera, so they do utilise bigger shots when they need to. I thought it was a thoroughly enjoyable story that kept the mystery going. Bit predictable in the middle, with some guy owns up to killing her. I don't know if you want me to give the plot away here, but he owns up to killing her, and you know that she's not truly dead. Bit disappointing with the ending, I have to say, but listen, you can't really argue it. It is what it is. You need a happy ending in a film like this after all of this trauma he's went through for the entire film. You need that happy payback. I thought Cho was unbelievable as David Kim. As I did say, it was primarily him, the detective, dealing with the case, and his brother, who were in it for the most part. But I thought the concept of doing this all through a PC screen was incredible. They showed you the technological advance as well, sped up. I think it's like Windows XP in the first few shots. It's his daughter's young, it's showing you clips. He's creating folders of her going to piano lessons and stuff, and then it comes to the present day and it's a Mac, and you've got FaceTime, and he's going into all the social network sites. And I thought it was very intelligent as well, the way they showed just the superficial nature of today's society. You've got Facebook and Twitter. Nobody really cares. This was his daughter didn't really have a lot of friends. Her mother died and it affected her. And then you see the falseness when it becomes clear she may have died. They're all out posting videos for likes on YouTube and views. And I thought that was intelligent as well. It was quite a good examination of today's society. But all in all, I enjoyed it. It surprised me. Not surprised it's in the top 10 of the box office. £700,000 is very impressive for a film of this size. I can't imagine it to have a huge budget by any means. But yeah, I'd highly recommend going to watch it.
Yeah, John, this is the film directorial debut of Anish Gigante.
Glad you're saying that, not me, Stephen.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a trademark of the director that we're going to see in future films. It's certainly that style really intrigues me. Apparently this film only took 13 days to shoot, but took 2 years to set it up, you know, the prepping, the editing and the animating and stuff like that. But, you know, your description really appeals to me, John, especially with the technology, the way it's used these days. And sadly, yeah, a lot of people do, you know, use technology, and especially platforms like Facebook and YouTube and stuff like that to get as many views as possible. We certainly don't do that here at Movie Burner Entertainment, do we, John?
No.
No, it sounds like an interesting concept. It's certainly one that I think might, just like I was saying earlier about the Spike Lee movie, it's certainly one I think I would have to go to the cinema myself to see, just to enjoy and absorb it. But we're going to move on to number 6 this week in the box office. It's Incredibles 2 in its 8th week, grossing another 800,000. Overall, grossing 54 million in just under 2 months, John. Brad Bird will be delighted with that.
I'm sure he absolutely will, Stephen. £53.7 million in the United Kingdom. Very, very impressive. I don't think anybody's really surprised though, because this was highly anticipated. Also, we had to wait over a decade to see this sequel. It's probably the longest time we've had to wait for a sequel that I can remember of a film that genuinely deserved it. It's usually utter shite that gets sequels. You don't want it, and it gets thrust upon you anyway. Certainly, look at the performance in the worldwide scale. $1.176 billion, so it's more than made a profit. And it deserves to, because it was a fantastic film. It was a better film than the original for me. Took all the concepts from the original that we loved, brought them into this film and expanded upon them. We get the continuing story of superheroes being made illegal because of the damage they do, try to stop the bad guys. The only thing I'd say is the villain was a little bit poorer than the original. I always forget that guy's name. But Screenslaver, it was okay. But overall, loved the animation, loved the humour, loved the story, the seriousness that underlies it all. Classic trait of Disney Pixar. Brad Bird, thoroughly deserving of the success that he's got for this film, because he's took it and he's just made it better. And I don't know how that's even possible, because the original Incredibles was fantastic. I think we'll see a sequel very soon. I don't think we'll be waiting 14 years again.
Yeah, I think it'll be in the next couple of years, John. We've talked about this film for the last 8 weeks. I'm not going to regurgitate anything I've already said, so we'll just move on, I think, to our next movie. This is the Happytime Murders. This is in its first week, grossing 700,000 over the weekend. Now, this is a Melissa McCartney movie, and right away I'm looking at the movie poster thinking this is the Muppets, and incidentally, it's Brian Henson that actually directs this movie. I don't know if that's the grandson or the son of Jim Henson. I can't remember. He's certainly related anyway. The first time I heard about this movie was actually in regards to, there was a bit of controversy in regards to Sesame Workshop, who apparently were going to sue the filmmakers of this because they used a tagline. I did laugh when I read this: "No Sesame, all Street," claiming that the film tarnished the reputation of Sesame Street. I doubt that very much. I think this film, it's not really getting great reviews at the moment. I think they're kind of pretty average on IMDb, but it's a film that I think I would like to go and see.
Well, Melissa McCarthy's in it, Stephen, so that's red herring for me right away. I don't hate her quite as much as I hate Amy Schumer. She's a little bit more unbearable, to be fair to her. When you see her in awards shows and stuff, she takes all the jokes pointed her way in good spirits. So I don't hate her as much as Amy Schumer, but I don't like her enough to go out and watch this film. It does very much look like a rip-off of a Muppet, so, and there's a clear similarity there. We don't see Kermit and Miss Piggy and stuff like that, but they're close enough, and I think he's probably as connected to the chap. What did you say his name is? Henson, Stephen? Jim Henson. So I think he is connected. Certainly that one on the main screen, that looks very much like the Muppets. But yeah, you look at Rotten Tomatoes, 45% audience score, 1,849 reviews. Top critics just 11%. All critics 23%. They're pretty scathing in the rating of this film. It's a rotten one for them. I don't know, I've not seen it. But box office wise, £694,000. That's not too bad. I mean, in terms of budgets, $40 million, and that's estimated. Currently sitting at a total worldwide gross of $23.9 million. Not quite made a profit yet, but it's just out, so we'll give it some time. It might get there in the end, I don't know. But yeah, not got much to add. You look at the cast though, it's not too bad a cast. Elizabeth Banks, Maya Rudolph, I know her from somewhere, I don't know where. Melissa McCarthy, and yeah, I mean, maybe some people will go out and watch it, I don't know. I'm not going to be one of them though.
Yeah, and that's Melissa McCarthy, Stephen, not McCartney. Yeah, we're going to move on, John. As you said, to number 8 this week in the box office is the Equaliser 2 in its third week, grossing another 600,000 over the weekend. Overall, 6.1 million. I think we talked about this probably in its first week, whether or not it was up there with the first movie. Certainly in box office, you can come in with that, John. It's not really lived up to its expectations. If you had any expectations, that is, I certainly did, because I enjoyed the first movie. This one's a decent sequel. It's not surpassed the original by any means, but it's a credible sequel. That's all I can really say about it. It's not exactly been a brilliant sequel. It's just it's held its own for what it is, but not disappointing in any way. I enjoyed it, but certainly wasn't a touch on the first one.
Oh, and also Antoine Fuqua, he was involved in the first one. But I agree with you, Stephen. It's not as good as the first film. I did get enjoyment out of it though. It is what it is. It's another violent sort of a revenge vigilante film that Denzel leads. With him in a film, it's always going to improve the quality because he's such a good actor. I loved Pedro Pascal's performance as well as the antagonist. He came in maybe about halfway through the film and outed himself as a villain, and he was decent. Out with that, I mean, probably Miles Whittaker, played by Ashton Sanders, the young boy. He had a good sort of chemistry with Denzel, Robert McCall, and that was a side arc that was not too bad. It showed you the humanising figure of him. when he goes to business, he's ruthless. He'll take them out with not much care for their lives. He'll just do them in one by one. But he has got a bit of a human side to him, and that separates him from these guys. Certainly the story, they say that he worked with the Dave York antagonist character and the group of people who are going about doing murders for money, and they do kind of make that distinction that he's different to them because he has got that humanity within him. In terms of grossings, $173.5 million cumulative worldwide gross off of a $62 million budget. That's made it just about a profit. I don't think they pushed it very much over here in terms of promotion, so maybe they were skimping on that promotion budget to try and eke out a profit because they knew it wasn't an outstanding film, just a good to average. And certainly that's what it is. It's a good to average film. Can't argue with the box office performance. I mean, that's acceptable. $6 million in the United Kingdom isn't to be laughed off by any means for a film of this nature.
No, John, we're going to move on now to number 9 this week. It's Hotel Transylvania 3 Summer Vacation, and it's 6 weeks now, and it's grossed another 600,000 over the weekend, grossing overall £17.5 million. Going back 6 weeks ago, John, I did say that this movie had been moved forward from its October release, which would have suited the sort of Halloween vibe to it and all that, with the Dracula and Frankenstein characters, etc. And when I heard that this movie was getting moved to a summer release and they retitled it Summer Vacation, I thought this might have some negative impact on its box office. It remains to be seen. Well, it actually doesn't. We'll never know how it would have done in its October release, but certainly $17.5 million for a movie in its third instalment of its franchise is pretty decent. You've got to admit, $17.5 million for an animated film that's coming off the back of the summer period. Certainly the summer holidays here in the UK for the kids. It's done pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to look at number 1, Stephen Disney's Christopher Robin, $10.8 million after 3 weeks. It's going to be around about that mark as well. I'd have thought maybe slightly higher 6 weeks in. So it's competing there or thereabouts with a Disney release. So can't argue with that. Total worldwide gross, $496.5 million off of an $80 million budget. So it's made a massive profit. And it's a 66-33% split between the United States and foreign 66%. So it's went over well with the international markets. So whoever's made the decision to release it in the summer and change the title, they deserve a promotion because they've made the right decision. Yeah. They should be earning the big bucks because they've just earned a production company in the studio big bucks, which incidentally is Sony Columbia, and they're having a very good week. They've got 3 films within the top 10 in the United Kingdom, so hats off to them. I've not seen the film. I'll maybe go back and watch them and see if I enjoy the first couple, and then I'll see whether that will then take me on to this film. I don't know, but it's Adam Sandler, and I always did love his early films in the 90s, early 2000s, but he's tapered off a bit, so I don't know.
I'm just going to move on to the last film, John, this week. It's in its 6 weeks now. It's Mission Impossible Fallout. It's grossed another $500,000 over the weekend. Overall, $23.1 million. I think it's going to be probably the last time we see this in the box office. That'll be my famous words. Next week it'll probably still be in number 10, but I doubt it very much. I think this is its final week, to be honest with you. I think another $500,000 over the weekend is pretty decent for the movie that's been out now for 6 weeks. I know that you thoroughly enjoyed this movie, John.
I did, yes.
And for a movie in its 6th instalment, it just keeps getting fresher every time. I think Tom Cruise can be very pleased with his performance as well. The additions of likes of Henry Cavill, Simon Pegg, etc., bringing back the Ving Rhames character from the early ones as well, Alec Baldwin in there. It's just a good mix of actors in there, great characters, keeps it fresh. And if it's run its course in the top 10, then I think it can be pleased with its performance.
Yeah, you can't argue, Stephen. £23.1 million, 6 weeks in. Very impressive. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and the reason I think it is fresher, even 6 instalments into the franchise, is because they've got such a very good antagonist, a worthwhile and worthy antagonist in the Apostles, led by Sean Harris and Henry Cavill. Sean Harris was obviously carrying over from Rogue Nation, the previous Mission Impossible film, and it's that mix of characters we know and love coming in with new ones that makes these films interesting. Every one of the main characters in this film are all interesting. They've all got a part to play. It feels organic and it's well handled. the likes of August Walker, Ethan Hunt, Solomon Lane, Ilsa Faust, The White Widow, Erica Sohn playing in the background as the CIA, pulling the strings, well, so she thinks, until August Walker turns rogue, or outs himself as being the antagonist. Thought it was a fantastic film, amazing action set pieces, amazing visuals. Tom Cruise in his mid-50s just carries it with absolute ease. I've spoke about it in depth, though I'm not going to go on much more, other than to say its total worldwide box office performance, $726.6 million, off of a $178 million budget. Massive profit for that film. Even you take into account shares to the theatres and promotional stuff and stuff like that. Made a massive profit. 70-30% split between international and US as well, so it's went over very well in both markets, and hats off to it. But I think that just brings us to the end of this week's episode of Box Office Chat, where we break down the top 10 films within the United Kingdom's box office. We'd just like to thank you for listening to us once again, and we'll be back tomorrow with Movie Burner News.
Remember guys, if you enjoyed that episode, then do hit that like button, comment below, and maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. If you want to follow us on social media for all the latest updates from Movie Burner Entertainment, then we can be found on Twitter and Facebook at Movie Burners. You can also listen to us on Google Play and iTunes at the Movie Burner Podcast. And last but not least, if you want to access all the latest written reviews and the occasional article, then that can be found on our website at movieburnerentertainment.org. Until the next time, goodbye.